everyone. Welcome. Today we are lucky to have with us John Hawksworth, Senior Product Manager of Adder. John, welcome and congrats on your success.
Well, thank you very much, Roy. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Great. So to start with, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Adder.
I'm an industry veteran now. I've been with Adder Technology now for 14 years, and before that, have been a product manager at semiconductor companies and scientific instrumentation companies. So I have a varied sort of background in electronic engineering. I say since I left college many years ago.
All right. And yeah, gosh, even though we all know what a KVM system is, as a starting point, please give us your definition of a KVM system in today's world.
Well, I think the KVM acronym is probably the worst acronym I've ever come across in my professional career. I mean, KVM stands for keyboard, video, and mouse, but that really doesn't describe what the systems do. Um, the KVM systems of today are basically matrix systems, which allows the computer equipment to be separated physically away from the users and their environment, and allows the user to be able to pick up any of those resources, if we want to say, on that network. So from my desk, I can basically connect to any of the resources on that network. So I can switch from computer A to computer B to computer C to computer D. So it basically means that I'm a much more efficient user than I was in the olden days, where I may have to have got up and changed desk to a different desk to operate a different computer system.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Great point. So today we'll speak about applications in the media and entertainment space, but your solutions are used in mission critical applications in public safety and military realms also, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Wherever there is a control room, wherever there is a need to separate, let's say, people from the equipment, KVM systems get used. Um, for instance, that we've been involved in, if there's let's say you don't want to be too close to a jet engine when you're testing it. So the ability to move the operator a good distance away from the jet engines is just as well. Is just a very nice thing to be able to do. But we're involved in from security control rooms to utility control rooms, whether that be nuclear power stations, gas power stations, coal. It doesn't really matter. Anywhere that there's a control room where you've got operators trying to control equipment, and you want the operators to be centrally located and be able to manage the equipment wherever it is in that particular site. So yes, and again the same for same for the governmental spaces where you are trying to say manage lots of information and want your operators to very succinctly be able to move between the different systems to make sure that the right outcome comes from the information that you've got.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what media customers care about most is, from our experience, is image quality enabled by high bandwidth, latency, reliability, security, and geographic flexibility to enable remote work. So let's get into how the Adder IP KVM solutions address all of these, if you would.
Yeah, so I mean, a long time ago, we decided that IP was the perfect medium for moving data around. Um, Cisco, HP, Broadcom, all of the big companies had spent billions of dollars developing a technology which was absolutely excellent and very good value for money in terms of the technology that's actually gone into it. So IP was the obvious thing to use as a medium to move data around. It was very obvious. For media customers, having good, or if not perfect, image quality was also the other thing that we wanted to do. And with our system, we took the approach is that what you see on the screen must be an exact replica of what came out of the back of the graphics cards. So the lines are straight, the colors are correct, it looks good, and it must feel like that from a user perspective, that even though the machine might be several hundred meters away, tucked in a a secure server location, so server room, no, air conditioned, that it must feel that it's underneath you. So we devised a system to give you that perfect image quality and low latency. Um, and the fact is that the gigabit networks that were provided were absolutely perfect for carrying HD data around in that fashion to give us that usability that we needed.
Right. Right.
Um, as I say, the flexibility of IP networks means it's routable, and that actually what was a surprise to us in a little way at the start was the fact that people then made big campuses out of the systems as well. So we weren't just restricted to one building. We actually were freed up across the campuses. So in plenty of places, the server room, the machinery might be in one location, but the users might be in a different building somewhere else. And this is something that was not achievable before without using the IP, which is why we why why we made the decision to use it. It was just such a much better technology than trying to create a replica of it, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Now, there was a term in one of your recent white papers that I loved, cognitive ergonomics. So please,
Yes.
yeah, please elaborate on how the adder solutions create peace of mind and high productivity for our operations staff.
So one of the key elements to all control rooms, whether it be media or anywhere else, is to reduce the mental load on your operators. So any system that you provide them has got to be intuitive and easy to learn. You'll you are the operators of the equipment are experts in their field of what they do for their job, for their exit, no, that their role within their organization. It is not their job to learn how to use a KVM system. So we as a manufacturer of KVM systems have put it at the forefront of our design to make it easy for people to understand and use and to get the benefits out of it without it being a mental burden. So what I mean by that is that we have intuitive pop-up displays. So when you want to, I need to work on a different machine, we give them a graphical user interface which allows them to say, that's the machine I need to be working on now. Let me easily do that. Some people don't like having the graphic user interfaces come up, so they would like shortcut keys on the keyboard to say, if I do this magic number, I get the new machine that I like. Some people don't like that. They would like just simple keystrokes or like from a button. And we can give them those kind of user interfaces to drop the mental load. Um, as part of a study, there is an ISO standard for control rooms, which talks about peripherals and vision and where things can sit in your peripheral vision, things that are of secondary importance, and the important zones, which are in front of you, which is where your keyboard and mouse and and the screen that you might be working on sit. You might have extra screens to either side of you, which are what they call confidence monitoring, so that you can scan those, but you're always generally working in front of you. One of the parts of this study and the ISO specification is to make sure that you reduce the amount of clutter that you have on your desk and remove the cognitive load on the thing. So we designed equipment to make sure that the user, no matter how many screens they've got in front of you, can use a single keyboard and mouse, but maybe operate three different systems from that single keyboard and mouse without to have to try and change, keyboards or mice. Again, just trying to make the load on the user as low as possible so that they're focused on their job and not the equipment in front of them. And that's the basic principles of cognitive ergonomics, is just making it simpler and for the user. And that's one of the things that we focused on.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Very well explained. Thank you. Now, also there's a trend in the media space to reduce the size of control rooms. As a consequence, the screen real estate is reduced. You have unique solutions that include multi-view capability for this need, correct?
That's correct. Yes, I mean multi-view is becoming um, an important factor in control rooms, um, and again, this comes back down to what I was talking about the cognitive load. Trying to keep things simple. Um, and as I said, mainly most people when they're working and focusing, they can only focus on what's directly in front of them. But they will also want to have a wider view. Now, in the old days, or say even modern days now, in a lot of control rooms, there'll be a big video wall at the back, which gives you that overall picture and view of the estate of whatever you're trying to control. In broadcast centers, you'll obviously, we obviously very um, often see the big multi-view screens so they can see all of the channels of all of the different programs that are going on at any particular point in time, or all of the different camera shots that are available for the program that they're doing. Um, the idea of multi-view is to bring that big video wall to your desk so that you've got maybe, as I said, a better view of the things that you want to be in control with, but you're generally speaking only ever controlling one bit at a time. However, the multi-view system allows you to very quickly move that data that you've seen that needs attention into your center screen. And again, so yes, multi-view is very much part now of the desk experience. As I said, as we move forward.
Excellent. Now, there's an undeniable trend towards unstructured data and AI tools. AI is everywhere. This inevitably results in more touch points and a need to access more applications. You've touched on this to some extent already, but your solutions are well suited to address the needs around this trend, correct?
We hope so. It's always the correct answer. Um, yeah, I mean, in our own equipment, we're looking at how AI can improve that user experience. There are things that our customers are asking us for where extra levels of intelligence can be layered into our equipment to assist them in their decision-making processes. So, uniquely, we have the ability to switch between many different, sources of information from a user's perspective, and we can use some of that AI intelligence in the future to allow better decision making going forward. So I think AI is going to have an influence on everything that we do. It's
Yeah.
just how to tame it and to use it in a way that is, constructive to the users of the equipment to make their lives. As I said, it's just another tool in the locker of making the operation more streamlined and more efficient.
Yeah, yeah, so true. So more and more facilities are moving to a virtualized infrastructure. So please tell us how Adder addresses the KVM needs for virtualized applications.
Yes, so it's very much the case now for lots of very good reasons. Broadcast control studios or any kind of media, studios have a mixture now of physical units and virtualized units. And the KVM systems have got to be able to, meld those two worlds together. It's a bridging tool. No facility is ever going to be 100% virtualized. No facility is ever going to be 100% physical machines. So the idea of bringing together um, a KVM system, a KVM desk system, where I can go to either one of those systems. So at the moment with our ALIF 3000 receiver, I can tune into either physical KVM transmitters connected to the back of a PC, or I can go via various protocols to VDI systems. So we have what is now known as the Omnissa Horizon, which obviously used to be VMware, um, which is now we can use their BLAST or PC over IP protocols to go and use if a customer is using those systems. We have RDP for as a protocol to go and get to Microsoft systems. We have VNC. We even have an SSH terminal in there for those old-time engineers who want to go in and adjust their switches. Um, and actually, we also have in an HTML5 browser as well, because of a lot of the content or a lot of the machines that you want to control are just now web interface based, and bringing that in there. The key part to this visualization or virtualization is that the user doesn't care. The person who sat at the desk doing their job doesn't care what is providing the information. They just want to know that they can get to it. So being able to give them a human readable name, a human name, as in it's my control system number one. They don't care whether it's VNC or RDP or Horizon. They just want to get to the data and use it and do their job. It is our job to obfuscate all of the technology so the user just does their job, what they're that they're needing to do. An editor doesn't want to be an IT expert, so let's not make him one. So let's hide all of that technology away so he just gets to the data, and that's what we're trying to do. We provide so for the for the IT infrastructure people, for the people who are building all of these studios and the facilities, the idea is that we can provide for it, but the user gets that same experience of just being, okay, I need to select machine number 42, and that gives me the data I need to do my job. And that's the way to look at it. But yes, virtualization is a very big part of what's going to go. It will only get more as we go on into the future. And the great thing about virtualization, there is so many standards to choose from, and the list is endless.
That's true too. Yeah. All right. And your solutions are a substantial contributor to green initiatives by enabling the use of shared compute resources. So please tell us a bit more about that.
Well, one of the features within KVM is that many users can actually hook to the same resource. The ability to share systems and be able to collaborate is always, no, is a good part of a KVM system. But in terms of green initiatives, that goes far past just the point of being able to share. In the way that we look at the way that we build our devices, the next generation of devices from the first generation, we halved the power consumption. We changed the way that we did all of our packaging for our boxes to make sure that we've reduced the amount of plastic waste that we do. This is not only just a response for us as following corporate social responsibilities, but also the fact that this is what our customers demand of us as well. So we're looking at making sure that we're reducing the power consumption. We're putting in features to make sure that we're not wasting electricity, but also and so all of these things come together as part of the green initiatives that ADA looks at to make sure that we are doing what the customers, our customers require, which is what their customers require, which are the users who consume, the television programs. They want to know that this is made in the most efficient fashion, and we are totally on board with those initiatives.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, to the extent that you're able to share, where do you see the future of KVM systems going?
Um, I think one of the things that we touched on earlier, very, very briefly, is the fact that our working patterns are different pre-COVID to post-COVID. Um, Pre-COVID, most of us were in the offices and the studios all of the time. We were all working in office buildings. Today, I may go into my office 2, maybe 3 times a week if I'm unlucky. Um, so we all work from home. And one of the things that we've noted, it doesn't matter what role that you are trying to fulfill within an organization, you want to have the same quality experience that you um, achieve in the office from home. We've always been renowned for our high bandwidth, low latency, pixel perfect video distribution within campus and on LAN and in campus. And what now we are doing is we are now trying to bridge that gap to bring the same, not exactly the same, but as close as enough the same quality experience that you can have in your office back to your home or wherever your remote location. And that is a trend that I think is that as a KVM manufacturer we will follow. The ability for people to work at home as they did in the office is something that we're trying to get to. We have just launched a new sort of technology known as ARDX, which is the first step into being able to take the technology from within the LAN and bring that same kind of experience back to the user in their house. I think that's a general trend. I think the second trend, which I think I've already mentioned, is the world is, it's cloud, it's virtualized, it's AI, and it's how to bring the benefits of those things in a fashion to the user. As I say, it's our job to simplify those things and provide the experience of being able to just sit down, log in, get to my content, get to my control that I need, the things that I need to do, and that sort of like freeing it that spatially, geographically, is the next step in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Now, is there anything I haven't asked that you'd like to share?
Now, this is blonde; it's not grey.
Noted. Noted.
No, as I say, I should say, there's in terms of successes, this is Ada's 40th birthday this year. So Ada is 40 years old this year.
Happy
Um,
birthday.
Thank you very much. We have, been supplying, the Adalink Infinity system now for the past 14 years into our customers. And we supply OB trucks to post-production facilities, to plenty of stadiums, whether it be football stadiums or soccer stadiums or hockey stadiums or basketball stadiums. We've done a lot of like broadcast rooms within the sports industry. A lot of the newsrooms, obviously, we all know who the newsrooms are in America. We've done a lot of those, those people. But also, it's the lesser known things that always surprised me about where our equipment gets used. As we've said before, it's not just sports media entertainment, where obviously we do very nicely. Thank you very much. But it's also it's the security control rooms, the industrial control rooms, which and some of the applications are very specific, and you think, wow, I hadn't thought of that, and it's really nice sometimes to be able to look at that depth of applications. And what we try and do is bring that knowledge from each of those different markets back into our equipment, because we try to maintain what we call a single code base, so that when we're delivering you this, if the way that you run your organization or is slightly different from somebody else's, because I, in my experience, know two companies, even in the same field, want to do exactly the same thing. We've built in over these 14 years a huge amount of experience and flexibility into the system to allow people to run it and to deploy it how they want. One of the innovations that we did, I say probably about 6 to 7 years ago, was putting out a 0U dongle. This is a single-use transmitter that goes into the rack room. We went to see a customer who said, "We really like your system, and now come and see our problem." And he walked him into his server room, and he had 300 servers. And he said, "So where can I put like 300 of your boxes?" And that spawned the conversation about, okay, we need to reduce power, we need to reduce size, we need to change it, because physically he couldn't, without expanding his facility, take the equipment. And these are the kind of things that we've learned from going to different customers to different places. So what was good for that customer turns out to be brilliant for OB trucks, because they don't have very much space. So you can see how things that we learn from one industry can bring into the other. And I think that's been the great thing about the journey with the Adalink Infinity, is that, as I said, although a lot of the work we've done is done within the media, you can learn things from these different industries to bring back and benefit what another industry hasn't thought about. So I think that's one of the benefits of how we've gone about the project.
Yeah, so true. Well, one thing we've learned at CineSys, whether it's an editor or a visual effects artist working at home, or a technical director producing an NFL game, the Adder KVM solutions enable talented people to make the key decisions needed to produce and distribute compelling content. So John, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your partnership.
No, that's my pleasure. Thank you very much, Roy.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.